Welcome to the Motormouth YouTube channel. I'm Zach.
I'm Andrea.
And we do full-length car reviews each and every week. Halfway through, we stop for a segment called Questions, Coffee, and Cars. We've spun it off. We're on episode 42. How do you get a question in?
Follow along on Instagram at Motormouth_Andrea every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Pacific time. I put a post out. It only stays up for a short time. Once we gather all of our questions, we start the show.
Time now for Questions, Coffee, and Cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Hi guys, love the show. Thank you. I put my name down on the wait list for the NX 450H Plus. The salesperson at Lexus said that it'd be a 2-year wait, but that they would prioritize the people who put in an order for higher trims. My question to you is whether you felt a significant difference in driving the F Sport trim and whether it's worth the extra $16,000.
I don't think you're going to notice much different. Lexus never really throws tons of, handling goodies at
No.
It's more a styling exercise.
Well, I just think that maybe it's slightly sportier, the F Sport, but I don't know if it's $16,000 sportier. But what you're missing out on is, the exterior and interior F Sport look with all the badging and some unique design elements. So I guess it really comes down to whether or not you like that look. It certainly does look sportier.
Sportier seats, that kind of stuff. But the other interesting thing is, I'm not sure where this person's connecting from, but Lexus won't tell you this, but we know that areas that have zero emission vehicle mandates are getting more of them than places that are not.
Yeah.
So if you live in an area that doesn't have what's called a ZEV mandate, they're not shipping many there because they need them to fulfill their ZEV mandates in those states and provinces. So that might also be why you're not getting one.
Yes. So California is a big one for anything electrified. And in Canada, British Columbia, and Quebec are definitely getting them.
More.
Yeah, before others. Thank you for putting out such entertaining content. Thank you. I'm a big fan of you guys. What are your thoughts on mainstream brands coming out with hybrid coupes? The Honda Prelude is one to look out for. But do you think there is still enough market for coupes to make a comeback?
Well, the market says no. The market is moving towards utilities. It's a shame. And the interesting thing is before we went to the Japan Mobility Show, there was lots of rumors online about the MR2, which ended up being, I think, that electric coupe.
Yes.
And also the Celica north of the border, there was rumors of that coming back. Back when I was a young man, Andrea, when I met you, two-door cars were...
Oh, they were a thing.
Yeah, the Prelude. I can clearly remember the early 90s Prelude. And the reason why, it was one of the first press cars that I got. And then I'm
in love with the Prelude.
And then the SX240. Remember the Nissan SX240 was a great car? So there was loads of them. It's just that the market has moved past that, unfortunately.
Well, my neighbor, when I was younger, he had a Honda Prelude. And I thought he was like the coolest dad to drive a vehicle like that. Dave McKillop was his name.
Unfortunately, we're moving towards a sea of sameness where everything is a utility, unfortunately.
Love the show and content. With all the theft and break-in issues with the Korean twins, why do you still recommend them so much? Well, the Korean twins are not alone in this. Depending on what area you live in, we find where we are, it's not so bad. But in the East, whether you live in Ontario or you live in Quebec, it's become a real problem for all brands. Lexus, Toyota, Honda. Yes, the Koreans as well, but how can we not recommend good products even though that they're getting stolen? It's a bigger issue.
So we recommend vehicles for their drivability, their usefulness, all of that kind of stuff. And these videos go out to the World Wide Web. And this theft thing is really geographically specific. We're seeing a massive problem in Eastern Canada.
Yeah.
We have a problem here in British Columbia, but not to the same extent. There was a report that was sent to me by an executive of a car company about the Delta port, which is here in British Columbia. And the analysis was that it's organized crime.
Yeah.
And the problem that they have in Quebec, it's the port of Montreal. And it all comes down to organized crime and lack of port policing. I heard a stat that for the whole port of Montreal, there's only 8 officers that patrol that. Like,
Not
can you
enough.
imagine the ships and the cargo that's coming in and out every single day? And they have 8 officers for 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So the problem is policing. The problem is breaking the organized crime ring that's doing it all.
Yeah.
So
And also the Halifax port
Mm-hmm.
started to have issues, and that was shut down quickly. So the issue isn't as great there as it is in Montreal, for
Mm-hmm.
example, and these brands are frustrated. We've spoken to them about it, and they're doing everything that they can fully do. Even Toyota with a Lexus model, they were getting in through the headlights. They've changed that so they can't get in that way. But it's a bigger
whack-a-mole,
issue,
though.
and it's not just the fob. Like, I talked to Toyota about this, and that it's all coming from the fob and keyless entry, and they said no.
if they want
It's
the
bigger
car,
than that.
If they want the car, they'll get the car, and then the car gets delivered in short order to the port. And these cars, the other problem with this from the report is that, say we're using Montreal because that's the worst culprit right now.
Yeah.
Organized crime is taking these vehicles, highly sought after vehicles, they're sending them through the port, and they're getting sent to places where they have gun lords, drug lords. It's going into the hands of organized crime.
Yeah.
A lot of them are going to Africa. They're going all over, but
All
some
over.
of them are going to Africa, Russia, places like that. So it's fueling a whole other nasty organized crime ring somewhere else in the world. So really, this is falling at the feet of, yet again, our government in Canada not doing enough on a
Yep.
federal level. Ports are federally regulated. That's what we need, is more port police.
And I can tell you right now, the manufacturers are frustrated with the lack of effort from our government in Canada. I just saw something on the news, a poor woman in front of her house. It was a luxury brand, and they knocked her over and took her vehicle. Like, this has become a massive issue, and if we don't deal with it from a government level, it's not going to go away.
There was a, I can't remember, I think it was in Brampton. It was a great video. I'll see if I can find it. If not, I'll describe it to you. So these thugs were trying to steal the car, or they were carjacking or beating somebody up, and the lady comes out with her slipper.
Oh, how cute.
And she
thing.
chases them away.
It's the worst what's going on right now.
Don't get between Mama Bear and her vehicle, because a slipper's coming out.
So some of these brands are saying, if you have a garage, park your vehicle in the garage. I know it doesn't work for everybody. We actually, on a Questions Coffee and Cars, there was a dealership that gave some ideas to how to protect your vehicle.
But back to the point is, we recommend cars based on their drivability and function. If there's an issue with cars getting stolen, call your local MP and say, it's time to police the port.
So are we not going to recommend a great vehicle because, you struggle to get it? I think everyone is in a different situation as well. Whereas if you need a vehicle now, I understand that's frustrating. You have to, come up with an alternative. But if you can wait for the vehicle that you want.
Yeah, but the other problem is the vehicles are being made and they are being delivered to somebody. It might not be you.
Yeah.
But people say, oh, why do you talk about the RAV4 Prime? You can't get one. Well, people are getting them.
Mm-hmm.
My brother's a perfect example. He had a van that clapped out and he needed a car. He's ordered a Prius Prime, the plug-in. He's waiting for it. But until then, he bought an old high mileage Honda Fit just to get him around. So sometimes you got to do that.
He had to compromise. Congratulations on the great shows, and thank you for sharing your experiences. Thank you. I wonder if you have any updates on the Cadillac 2024 Lyric. The 2023 model seemed very interesting, but it was plagued by production slowdowns. Thanks in advance. Yeah. They had some issues. They had some quirks, should I say,
Well,
that they had to work out.
So I think, the actual thought process behind this wasn't actually that bad. So Lyric is an expensive, compared to other General Motors vehicles, it's an expensive vehicle. So it's going to be lower volume anyway. So they might as well, with their new Ultium platform and the new, especially in-dash electronics and everything that's going to be shared across all General Motors EVs,
Yes.
they can work the bugs out with a lower volume car. First year, apparently they only made 2,000 of them.
I don't know what the exact amount is, but it does say here there were issues. Vehicle software management needed an update, a fix for cracking liftgate panel, and a recall for display issues. So
So these are all teething issues, like so I said. So it's better to do the teething on a low volume car than like the Blazer that's going to be coming out shortly.
Well, it says they intentionally implemented a slow rollout to fix certain teething issues. So yes, they have ramped up production of the 2024 model. I'm hearing mixed things that it started up in March of 2023, and then others are saying May of 2023. So it's coming, and hopefully next year will be a better year for the Lyriq with more vehicles available.
They are ramping up the whole EV thing. So they're working out all the bugs, because what's shared from Lyriq is going to be in the Blazer. It'll just be done as a Chevrolet, even though behind the scenes it's all the same componentry. So that's what they're doing. So in this next 18 months, you're going to see a lot more of them.
In the meantime, watch our Lyriq review if you haven't yet.
It's really good.
It's good, and boy, does it ever look good. I think the Lyriq is one of my favorite electric vehicles on the market.
Liked
and
it a
that
lot.
Interior, gorgeous.
General Motors can do it.
Yeah.
They have engineering know-how for sure.
Hi guys, love your show. Thank you. I drive a 23 CRV Hybrid Sport Touring in Minnesota. Wondering, what do you think might explain such a drastic price difference in US and Canada markets? You know, it's funny when we do our reviews, and we will complain about Honda being so expensive in Canada. And then some of you have said, yeah, but if you do the conversion, it's actually not that bad and they're very close in price. But here's the thing. We are buying our CRV, for example, in Canadian dollars, and you are buying your CRV in American dollars. And you cannot buy a brand new vehicle in Canada and ship it to the US and vice versa. So does it really matter when you do the exchange rate?
I think the kick in the ass is the fact that the car's made in Canada, and the Honda Civic is made in Canada by hosers. They put them together.
Well, that's why people say, like, why can't you get a RAV4?
It's made in Canada.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is, a lot of people watch these videos and they say, why are the prices so different? Why are the trims so different?
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this. When you cross the border, you're in a different country.
You are.
And if we were not connected to the United States, nobody would question it. But because we have a land border, people go, well, it should all be the same. No, it's a different country, different company, different marketing, different pricing based on what this economy, and it's a massive country with a very small population.
And I also think that it stands out more on our channel because we do Canadian and American
Do the other channels do that, Andrea? Do they do that?
Not many
Did
do.
they do Canada and US?
No, not many. And, you know, here's a good example. The Corolla Cross Hybrid, everybody was shocked that there was no heated steering wheel in that model in the U.S. It's like, what? Don't you guys get cold in the U.S.? Of course you do.
Okay.
But they made that decision.
Perfect example of price parity, even with the currency, is, for example, the top Volkswagen GTI that we ordered and the top Autobahn GTI in the United States is about the same price in Canadian dollars.
I know.
So that means Canadians are getting that car at a 30% discount for the
Amazing.
most part. So they're within $1,000 Canadian and US.
Yeah.
Another one was the Stinger. The Stinger, when it was released, and still now, they're still available. They're going to be, I don't know what they keep saying, they're going to discontinue it.
I think they are discontinued.
It was the same, it was cheaper in Canadian dollars
than American dollars.
The American one. In Canadian dollars. So
but it doesn't matter. You have to buy a used one, for example, and then you could ship it to Canada or to the US, but not a new vehicle. Here's another one in Canada. Typically, most vehicles come standard with heated front seats. That's not the case in the US either.
Oh, you can't sell a car in Canada without heated seats.
No, like I think Canadians just demand, like, are you crazy? You're not giving me heated front seats. But obviously in the US, manufacturers can get away with that, putting heated seats maybe one up from the base model. Great show on your top 5 compact SUVs.
Oh, wait,
Thank you.
Andrea, if you haven't seen that, it just came out this past weekend.
Yeah.
We go through the top 5 compact,
non-luxury
SUVs. And a lot of you watched it. You did very well the first day it was out.
And okay, so here's a follow-up. I'm hoping you can do one for the subcompact models too. We are. It is just the two of us, and we have a Jeep Wrangler as the camper, pulled, and dog hauler. Looking for something with decent gas mileage and some decent amenities inside. Heated seats, good tech, and comfortable seats. I've considered a Seltos Soul, used to driving a Stick, I think. It says brick, but stick. And Crosstrek, what do you think? Do you have a better option?
They're all good
Well,
choices. Those
they're
are all
all
good
good.
choices. I think
No
the
stack. There's no stack.
No, the Seltos, they got rid of it in the Crosstrek.
They did.
The Seltos is the value choice. You get the most features. And then I still think the best all-rounder really is Crosstrek.
Yeah, the Crosstrek is good. It's gotten up in price,
Yeah,
though.
they put the
Boy,
price
they
up.
raised the price.
But
But they've all raised the price.
But it has amazing resale value. I mean, the Subaru has great resale value.
And a great all-wheel drive system, and then you get that extra ground clearance as well. So we really like the Crosstrek. But I got to tell you, the Seltos, wow, what you get for your money on the top trim, like ventilated front seats, heated rear seats, driver's seat memory, a power passenger seat. I mean, a lot of these features are just not in the subcompact class. So check out that Seltos. Hi folks, terrific show. Thank you. I have a 2016 CX-5 GT with white leather. Ooh. It's still beautiful with about 80,000 kilometers on it, and I still love driving it even though the Mazda navigation system sucks. I'm thinking it might be a good time to trade it in and get a new warranty. I also heard a rumor that the CX-5 will be dropped for 2024, which may affect its long-term value. If I replace it with a CX-50 or a Subaru Forester, would I be disappointed? Okay. What else is similar in price range would be as fun to drive as my CX-5?
Okay, riddle me this, Andrea. What is the best-selling vehicle for Mazda?
The CX-5.
Why would you get rid of your best-selling vehicle? They're not doing that.
So I was watching this YouTube video on Mazda, and it was a dealership, and he said in the video, which is why there's all this conflicting information, this is the last year for the CX-5. I contacted Mazda.
No, we ran into Chuck at the...
No, but I sent him an email.
Yeah.
And he said, what? Can you send me the link?
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, no, it's staying.
I think what they should be saying is this coming year will be the last year for this current model. That's my guess.
Maybe.
That the CX-5 will be updated for 2025. Because every category of vehicle, all of the manufacturers bring out their vehicles roughly within 18 months. So we know that RAV4 is going to be updated for 2025. It would make sense that CX-5 will get updated. The Forester is going to get updated for 2025. So you're going to see this trend. The hottest market is compact utility vehicles. And the good news is in the next 18 to 24 months, most of them are going to be heavily refreshed or updated.
Will you find something as fun to drive as your CX-5
Andrea,
in this category?
What's the quick question and answer to that? No, Andrea loves it.
No, you will not. That is one in this compact non-luxury class that has the most engaging and fun drive. That's the one I would buy if I didn't need this space.
Okay, what I would do, you've only got 80,000 kilometers on it. And there's going to be some probably news next year on if they're going to update it. I just keep driving it until you find out whether you can replace it with a new one or get a deal on the last of the old ones.
And I wouldn't worry about the warranty. It's a reliable vehicle. The CX-5's been around for a long time. I just wouldn't be concerned about it. I would drive it and enjoy it. You've got a great model.
And I like the interior. All right, that's it, Andrea. Don't forget, the top 5 video dropped this past weekend. There's going to be another one coming up this coming weekend.
Yeah.
And we're heading to the LA Auto Show.
Ooh, stay tuned.
Yeah, we're going to be driving some sneaky peeky kind of
Lots
stuff.
of great
We can't tell you about that.
No.
But if you follow the interwebs, you probably know what it is. And we're hoping, the rumors are that the new Forester might be there.
And it might be a hybrid. I don't know why I'm talking quietly.
Because it's more fun. Andrea, what's the car that might be coming? The hybrid Forester?
I am so excited about this week ahead. Not only do we get to drive the new
Tacoma,
but then there's just so many reveals coming up, and just being at the show is always super fun too. So follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday I put a post out asking for questions. Once we gather all of our questions, the post is deleted and we start the show. Questions, coffee, and cars. Thanks for watching.
bye-bye.